Hot out here, y'all. It's hot, hot. Like one of those whiskey Sundays type of hot, honey. All right, so we're gonna get the live started in a moment. I'm running behind, so just pop in. Okay, here we get very real about what business is, not just about the business itself, but about you being the person who's running the business. I'm Allegra Jackson. I am a business coach. They coined me the marketing medulla. I do not believe that business can be successful without other components, meaning marketing involved in that, which means that you have to not only know how to market yourself in your business, but you have to understand what your business actually is. And so we talk a lot here on this channel about business, when it comes down to the mindset of business, when it comes down to the promotion of business, when it comes down to the planning of business, the making of business, the breaking of business. Like, we talk about all those things here on this channel because a lot of things we do not learn in school. We're not learning business in school. We're not learning the actual, you just text me, okay. We're not learning the actual ins and outs of what it looks like for people, because the truth is most people will never share with you what is happening behind the scenes with them. All the late nights and the crying in the pillow and the, complaining about who's not supporting them, like really, really feeling the actual heartbreak of not having support. You do not see the behind the scenes of what that looks like for other people. And so in business, when it happens to us, we need to have a support system. So I became a coach to make sure that, yeah, making sure I'm alive. Thank you, girl. I became a coach to make sure that these things are, like, we're keeping at the forefront of our minds that business is a journey. It is not the end all be all for anything. It is something that you not only should enjoy doing when you do it, but you should be learning from everything that you're doing. So if you're in business or you're an entrepreneur and you feel like it has become overwhelming at any point in time, I'm that coach that supports you in decluttering your business, because we build, but we never talk about how to remove what's not serving you. So if you're building from the startup phase in your business and you're just like, hey, I feel overwhelmed now. Like, I got all these things going on, things that I've put in the business, systems, structure, strategy, team members, and now I'm overwhelmed by it, right? You have to declutter that, and you have to know what that looks like for you. So I support my clients in doing that, outside of also supporting them in starting, growing, and scaling the business. That's clarifying that vision, so you know that what you're doing is actually aligned with who you are. I've had so many people say, oh, well, I just started the business because it was a great idea. My cousin thought of it. But then my question is, how does that align with you? Is that something you wanted to do? So we do a lot of reassessing that, and it's okay. Like, as a coach, I love to tell you guys, it's okay to reassess what you've actually decided to do and not feel guilty about changing your mind. So those are some of the things that I work with my clients on, outside of also just making sure that you are building that business without overwhelm. Do not think that you have to be overwhelmed just because you're building a business, okay? And today we're going to talk about showing up like it. One other session we had, and Nisa, feel free to join me, where we talked about actually, thank you, girl. When we talked about this whole concept of being a strategist and knowing that you're already a strategist. I mentioned some things in the live stream that we talked about that said something as far as getting your clothes out the day before, the week before, planning your children's days, their meals, their school schedules, knowing how to get through traffic to get to your destinations and your locations every day. Do you know that you're already a strategist? Like, literally are planning every single day on how to get through and maneuver through life. So when we think about that, we have to apply that to our personal lives. And that means that you're not just knowing that you're a strategist, but you're showing up like it. Like, baby, show up like it. Like, show up like you know who you are. And that's what I want to remind people of, especially on this Mindset Monday. We've done a lot of digging into the, what do we need to be reminded of? How can we affirm ourselves? We've done a lot of that. But how many times do you command your inner self? Like, you have your own thoughts, feelings, and things that go on that nobody else knows of, right? How many times you have to command your own thoughts, your own self, to show up like it? Like, I belong in a room. I was created to do this. I was made to be here. And you know how they tell you, like, to walk in a room like God sent you? I can't tell you how many times I have heard that and I have said that, but then when I walk in the room, I'm like, I don't know if I'm supposed to be here, right? But here we're going to talk about some things that will kind of shift the mindset, especially if you were like me at one point where I was an employee. I didn't have to show up like it, right? I could literally hide behind paperwork, my desk, my cubicle, my managers. I could hide behind everything. And there was nothing and no one pushing me to have to show up to get results. Like if I like all I had to do was go to work every day and I got that paycheck. But I didn't have to, show up at a conference and speak on behalf of my team and my business. I didn't have to get on a live stream and talk about my story and my journey, right? I didn't have to do all those things. But there are things that I have had to do in the past that have challenged me that I've had to actually look back and say, wait a minute, I did do that already. Right? And so we talked about knowing that you're a strategist, knowing that you do these things in your daily life, knowing that you have accolades and accomplishments. And if you really, really lay out your brag bank, you probably done way more than your brain is holding right now. Like you have to you have to bring your brain for it. Like you have to remind yourself of how great you are. And this Mindset Monday, we're going to contribute to that notion of just knowing that you are a strategist, you didn't call it that, but also understanding that you can show up like it every single day. And that is applicable to your business. Nysa, I want you to introduce yourself, and I just will start off with that. And then I want to do a quick dive into what it means to actually show up like it. So go ahead, sis, introduce yourself.
Okay. Hey, everybody. I am Nysa Shepherd, CEO and founder of Miracle Moments LLC. And Miracle Moments LLC is based off my life, where I experienced my first miracle moment at birth with my esophagus and my stomach not connected. That has inspired me to help other individuals discover their miracle moment as well. And that's through a notarization. I am a North Carolina notary, PowerPoint presentation, graphics, logos, social media content, flyers, event coordinating, customized theme songs, and administrative work as well. There's a lot that I do, so and when I'm speaking about it, I'm like, okay, I said that. Did I already say that? But yes, that's a little bit of what I do. And here at Miracle Moments, every moment in life is your miracle moment. Thank you so much for allowing me to speak.
Okay, say it, sis. So, and it's funny because every time it's like a jingle, right? Every moment is your miracle moment. And we know that that comes straight from your brand. I appreciate you always plugging in. And you guys make sure that you get with NYSA for anything that you need in your business when it comes down to these type of services. I do want to, piggyback off of the last live stream. I don't know if you were here on the live with us, NYSA, but we were talking about you are a strategist already. People go, oh, I don't really know how to market. I'm really bad at that. And that's why my business isn't thriving. And, it's interesting the conversations I have because sometimes they become my clients, sometimes they don't. And individuals that I know that I end up working with, we end up shifting that narrative from I don't know how to market to, oh, I just didn't know that was marketing. And it's the same way we talked about sales, right? I had to shift that mindset because if you're not good at sales, if you're one of those individuals who maybe you never had a sales job, you never had to do it in any job that you've been at, you never had to implement sales anything, you never had to show up and speak on behalf of a brand, especially your own brand, then you're going to feel like you're bad at sales, right? But the truth is that you have a sales conversation every day. It's just not for your brand, right? You have sales conversations every day about other people's brands, the clothes you wear, the things you do, the places you go. These are all other people's brands. And when we start to relate to the fact that we are that, but do we show up like it? You are a strategist, but do you show up like it? You are a marketer, but do you show up like it? Right? For a lot of us, we do. Okay. It's just don't be for our own stuff. So let's pivot that mind shift, okay? And let's see how we can do what we do for other brands, right? The brands that we love, but also pivot that same energy into our own brands, because The difference is we're in it, we're not outside looking in, and so it feels a little scarier, it feels a little challenging, right? Nice said, you're not in your head. Do you have stories behind?
Girl, yeah, as you're talking, because you're saying like how when we're doing it for our own businesses versus somebody else's businesses, of course we're gonna show up. Is no okay. So the part you were saying how it can be scary, right? So yeah, you can be, telling about, because just for example, like when we talked before, you were like, you don't talk about your business a lot. I was like, you got a point, because I'm always sharing other people's business. I'm sharing all their social media stuff and things like that. But mind you, I have a business as well, but I'm not talking about it as much because I wasn't as confident as I am now. And to be honest, it was scary getting started. But, I started, and that was the point of knowing, okay, you need to show up for your business like you do other people's businesses. How are other people going to know what you do if you don't talk about it? So, after that conversation, I've made it my I've made it my business to talk more about my business, and then also to show up for my business just like I do for other people's, and to take like even do more for my business than I do for other people's businesses, because their business could thrive and I'm just over there helping them. But what about my business? I'm the only one that's really running my business like this. So I have to be mindful of the attention that I'm 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 giving to each business, but also have mine as primary and give more to my business as well. So when you were saying that, I was like, girl, I understand what you're talking about, because been there, done that. Not that I still struggle with it, but I do have to remind myself, you're helping them, but what about yours? You still have to focus on you as priority. And one of my friends, he reminds me of that as well. So that was a good point.
Yeah, powerful. Thank you for sharing, Nisa. And I see Emma has joined. We're going to do introductions for Emma in a second. I just want to, just welcome everyone into the live. So if you've never been to these Mindset Monday live streams, we do these every Monday at 2 p.m. Thank you for Nisa for reminding me, because I sometimes try to get on at 12 and give you guys some early love. But here's the truth of what you're saying is we all are going through a journey where we're figuring out that we're no longer in an employee state. We're now the boss. We are now the person that everything trickles down from. So it's a lot easier to shout out and promote a system that's already there, right? Like you go to work, bless you. You go to work and the system's set up, and or you see someone else's business and their system's already set up, and you go, oh, I understand that. I understand what you're doing. I get it. And I see promise in that, and I want to help you. And so we tend to feel more empowered to want to just be a part of something rather than be the something. Like this is different, right? This is like, instead of having a seat at the table, this is building the table, right? Having a seat at the table means you just take the chair that's in the corner and you go sit where everybody else is sitting, and hopefully you can get a bigger plate somehow. But if you are the one building the table, which this is what you do in entrepreneurship, you are building it. You are taking an idea, you're taking a concept, you're taking a dream, and you are literally creating a cycle, which I say your thoughts are now becoming things. So as you're building this table, you're going to run across all kinds of things that make you question yourself. Like, do I have all the pieces to build the table? Like, do I actually have all the tools in my toolbox to put the legs to the chair and the legs to the table, and not to mention the look of it all, right? Like it's one thing to build a table, it's another thing to make it look pretty. So when we say these things, and we know we're the strategists, we know we do this in our everyday lives. We plan for people in our everyday lives, especially as women entrepreneurs. We are the head of the tables, y'all. So planning for everyone in our lives, being able to look at, our day to day and how we strategize all the things that we have to do and get it done. You think you can't apply the same measure in your business? You can. I think the truth of it is we haven't had enough practice yet. So let's start there. I see David popped in, but one thing that we talked about is knowing that your strategic isn't enough, y'all. Execution is where the growth resides. If you're knowing that you're really good at something, if you could be like, yeah, I'm really good at my job. I know how to tell people what to do. I know what to say and how to feel and boom, boom, boom. But if you're not actually executing it, if you're not implementing it for yourself and physically doing the work, then it's not going to happen, right? You're not going to be satisfied with the results that you get. So this week's mind shift is super simple, y'all. You don't become successful by planning better. You become successful by doing better consistently. Period. Emma, I want you to introduce yourself because I just started with a little bit of leeway into our concept today, which last time we were on the live stream, we talked about you are a strategy. You know how some people say, I don't know how to market my business. I don't know. I just don't know any of that stuff. I need the steps. And I'm gonna be honest, I give people the steps and they go, I still don't understand. And so, I leaned into the fact that we are doing things that we already know how to do, whether it's, like putting our clothes out in advance to make sure that we know what we physically want to wear and not have to, do it in the moment. That's strategy. Making meals and plans for your kids to go to school and to go to practices and to be involved in activities. That's strategy and planning in our own lives, right? Even our wives, our lives with our wives and husbands, where we have to strategize for them too, right? Because we're now a partnership. So we talked about that last live stream, Emma, and then we're leaning into the fact of this week, we know we're a strategy, but it's not enough to know it, right? You have to actually show up like it. And that's where the energy is coming from today. So I would love to hear, please introduce yourself first, and I would love to hear your take on that.
Yeah, I love this conversation. For some reason, I'm new on TikTok, so maybe that's why I can't turn on my camera. But anyway, so my name is Emma Lyons, and what I do is I help people to clear the trauma so they can step into their full leadership potential. And I've realized that trauma is at the root of all the ways we sabotage ourselves, all the ways we can't implement all the great strategies we have, and we know how to do it. The reason we don't implement it is because we have these traumas that we need to really take back our power. And that's why I love this conversation, because it's really what you're talking about is embodiment. I did a post, I just posted one up today about intellectualization, hyper-intellectualization. So there are so many people, and I could raise my hand here too. We know all the things. Like I could have written a psychology book about why I was the way I was, the traumas I had, from all the different psychological perspectives, but I was still really stuck. So knowing this stuff, having the strategy, having all the experts' details of what you should do doesn't mean you're embodying it. That's a different deal. That's like the high level thing. It's easy to have the information. We all have Google. We all have ChatGPT now. You can find the information. You can find out how to do everything. So why are we not all millionaires? There's something else going on. It's not just about information and strategy. It's about putting it to action. And the reason why we don't do it is because we don't put those things into operation, is because we have these sneaky little blocks and fears about, what'll happen if I succeed and what's everyone going to think. And oh my God, it's overwhelming. Like we have to really get out of our comfort zone. And especially if you're running a business, you have to be, especially if you're selling something that you make or do yourself, you have to be an abnormal level of visible. And that's terrifying. That would be terrifying for most people who have a job, So it requires a really high level of empowerment. And like we're talking about, you got to embody it. It's not enough to just be able to talk about it, to be able to write about it. You've got to actually embody that energy to attract your people to you. And I know how frustrating it is to have all of the facts and the details and the strategy in place and still feel stuck because of that last piece.
I don't know if that was the closing remark, but that was a powerful statement, Emma. Just wow. So for those of you who've never met Emma, Emma Lyons has been in my community, in my space for some time now, some years, and we've done live series before. I love you guys to meet my partners and people who I work with and do all kinds of business with in different ways. Emma has not only poured into the Win community as a supporter, whether it was hosting, rooms and giving information on money blocks. I remember back then, I still to this day, Emma, I still have my money jars and I have my pockets. Okay. And it's very powerful to lean in deeper into this concept where it's all about receiving. And I love how we're just digging deeper. So I do want you guys to lean in. If you enjoy any of what the speakers are saying, please give them lots and lots of love. I know this thing, Emma, you're new to it, but that's how we get used to it, right? You have to start somewhere. Nisa, she's like the master of all of us here on TikTok. So she can tell you how to do all of the amazing things that TikTok is doing right now. She's leveling up in her growth here. I'm still learning too. So I do believe you can turn your camera on. Doesn't matter if you are new or not.
It won't let me anyway. I've tried.
Oh,
And it says you'll connect using audio only. So there we go.
awesome.
Just get 100 followers and then you could go live. Because I
Yeah,
know
I
my
don't.
sister, yeah.
I think that might be it. I don't have 100 followers yet, so please follow me. Follow me, people. Help me out.
Followed you. I followed you.
Thank you.
Basically, if you like share Allegra's live on your story, that allow people
Ooh,
to
yeah,
get
yep.
attraction to your page, and then you'll people can follow you. So, and I can share some room with you where you can go in different rooms where you can get people to follow you too, because it's pretty easy.
Awesome. Thank you, Nisa. Giving all the
It's so much more. Hang on, I have. Can't. Sorry, I was sharing and I had like two audios going. But I love the authenticity here on TikTok. It's so much more real and raw than Instagram, and I love that.
It's definitely a different feel.
Yeah,
And we do all channels. It's definitely a different feel. Um,
yeah,
and we do all channels, right? Because this is the truth. The truth is that if you don't understand what you're doing, a lot of people open businesses after the pandemic. A lot of people are still in entrepreneurship and they are figuring it out. I worked with an individual for some years, and I told Nisa in full transparency, I had to let people go, right? Clients wise, because there's a lot to be figured out here, but it doesn't have to be complicated. And so I want you guys to, if you're not ready to get coaching, if you're not ready to work with someone or to actually do the actual work that you have to do, because it's the truth, it's not easy.
Right.
These live streams are here to support that transition for you, to shift your mindset, to get into the gems, like Nice is giving gems for how you can get better at TikTok. You never know what you're going to get on these live streams. I've received so much value from having my speakers on and sharing their knowledge as well. So just make sure you guys are paying attention where you need to be focused, okay? Because there's a lot going on in this world today. Before we move on to this topic at hand, David, go ahead and introduce yourself, and we'll dive a little bit deeper into not only knowing you're a strategist, but showing up like one.
Absolutely. I always feel like these turn into reunions a little bit, but I'm glad to be here. For those that are going to be listening at a later date, my name is David Williams from New York, and I am what I consider to be a lifestyle entrepreneur. And what that means is a lot of times we spend our time and our focus, right, building our business to help fund our lifestyle, right? But what if I told you that instead of using your business to fund your lifestyle, you could build your lifestyle around your businesses? So I was gifted fragrances before I decided to make them. I was an avid reader before I decided to write my own books. And so now, on the other side, I help other people celebrate themselves and think outside the box. And that the sky is not a limit, it's just a view. And that is one of my favorite quotes. I might get it tattooed on me somewhere, but I digress. So I'm glad to be here. And that is a brief synopsis or summary of what I have going on. So back to you, Allegra. Glad to be here.
Awesome. Thank you so much for that. So yeah, make sure you guys follow the speakers, and also we're gonna just have a little bit of a mini session here with you guys about this concept of showing like one, not just being one, which is the strategy, right? The strategist. And I think these are really, really. It's funny because in the beginning, when I used to say a lot of these things, people used to get excited about it, right? Like in the pandemic hit. I don't know if you guys recognize that. But business coaching and strategy and algorithms, everybody was like, oh, I want to know more. I want to know more. And then all of a sudden, like the real set in, right? It was like, okay, wait, now the business is businessing and I got to like actually do what Allegra said to do. Mm-hmm. And now that means that I had to actually know what she meant by that.
Right.
Like, so I'm going to give you guys an example, right? Like I used to have all these rooms in the beginning of how to leave your 9 to 5 and start the business. I don't know if any of you remember those rooms. I remember. But we used to constantly have those rooms because it was just one of those things where everybody wanted to know how to be a business owner, but they just weren't understanding what steps to take. So I was like, okay, this is not just a step thing. This is a mindset shift. Mm-hmm. So we would have really deeply rooted rooms. And once we were in the rooms, you would see that once we got to the actual work part, people were like, oh no, I'm out. I'm done. I don't want that. Right? Because the truth is, it's one thing to know it, and Emma hinted towards this. So I want to hear more about this from you guys, because this is, I think, the hardest part for everyone. I don't think anyone gets off easy just because they're good at what they do, that they just start the business or start going out there and it's just successful.
Right.
I'm sorry you can't convince me of that. Now, if you have done it and you hit the ground running and it just stays successful and you were able to do that, I would love for you to come on and give us your story. Because I'm sure we're going to find some bumps in the road. But when you are actually implementing strategy, like how I was talking about in those rooms, they got a lot of information. By the time I was done that 9 to 5, how to leave your 9 to 5 and start a business series, guys, they could teach me that stuff. Like there are people, I was just at an adult coloring book night where one of the members that was in one of those rooms back then, right? They're in the WIN community and they're at the events. I'm no longer doing that room, but they are mentioning things from that room 3+ years ago. Why? Because this is stuff that people take in and they know. But if you were to hear the whole conversation, it wasn't until years later until it was implemented. So this is the key. It's not about knowing, it's about showing up like it. And how soon are you ready to do that? Life gets busy, right? Fear creeps in. There's all kinds of things, all kind of barriers. Overthinking, delay, right? There's all kind of delays. Like there could be a delay as easy as, oh, wait, I got to finish this thing on Netflix. That could be a delay. Wait, I'm not done that episode yet. Okay. I can't focus until I know what the ending is like. There are people, I promise y'all, there are situations where that is a delay. A delay is an excuse for things that you are trying to prioritize over what you know you need to do. So you can't wait until things feel perfect, right? And strategy without action is just a fancy journal entry. I love that. So I'm going to stop there because, listen, I could go on, but I want to hear from the speakers and, just what comes up for you guys, because all of this we know. But how are we actively taking action as soon as we know what the strategy is? Like when you get the strategy, like if you know that you're a strategist and you implement every day in your life, that you're always thinking about what's tomorrow bringing? What do I need to prepare for tomorrow? How do I need to set my day up for the week? How do I need to prepare to get this new job, this new opportunity, this new whatever? It's so many times where I hear people go, oh yeah, I'm going on vacation. I go, oh, how did that happen? Girl, I planned this a year ago. I did A, B, C, D, E, F, and G. Why can't you do that the same way with your business? You can, but it has to be an intentional practice. You can't give up just because you failed the first time. And you have to have some level of accountability, okay? And we'll talk a little bit more about that, but Nysa, what comes up for you?
And so what comes up is actually what we just talked about the other day, because I did my room this morning on Clubhouse, so we were talking about how to prepare for that and invite people in and things like that. So after we got off our call, my plan was to send out emails, post the post, get people invited and things like that. Well, after I got off the call, it didn't go as well as we planned, and I didn't get everything done that I wanted to get done for people to come in. So I was like, okay, I kind of like was going back and forth in my head. I was like, oh my God, I didn't get that done. I know I need to get X, Y, and Z, but so people can have enough time to plan their time and that they can come to the room. So I was like, okay, well, I can't do nothing about that. Now I can just start from where I am. I'm not going to do nothing because I know, like, by not doing nothing, I'm just staying where I am. So I have to be strategic in what I'm doing right now. I have to start where I am. So I went ahead and planned the event, sent it out, and did what I could do with the time that I had. I didn't just not do anything. So even though I wasn't able to send out the emails like I planned on doing, which we already strategized all of that. So my point is, like, in being strategic in things, even if you get tripped up at some points, don't stop. Just keep on going where you are, because if you stop, you're just allowing not well, it could be a part of fear too. You're allowing that to grip you and hinder you from your growth of pressing forward to meet your goal. I think I'm staying in line with what you're talking about. But yeah, so that's what came up for me, because I'm like, literally, we just talked about this. And so to prevent that from this time, what I already started doing now is getting my room notes together for this week. I already emailed Dr. Legger to give her a portion of what we're going to discuss. And then I've already sent it out to some people on Clubhouse. And then I'm going to make my event on Facebook and then start talking about it. Well, no, I already posted. I was like, you missed it this week, join us next week for the part 4. So I've already started being strategic in reference to next week, and so that gives me more time to be more effective.
Man, that's powerful. First of all, I love how we're not talking about being perfect. We're talking about implementing and executing. And I think you made a great point about like how sometimes we will implement, execute in our business, and it may not work out like we wanted to, especially when it comes to strategy, because you know how that is. You're like, oh, I put so much work into that, right. And it just didn't turn out like I wanted to. But I love the fact that you took that as an example, as a lesson learned. Like, it's just a lesson learned. How many times do you guys strategize, going to work a certain way, and you found out that now they got new traffic or roadblocks, right? That was part of your strategy. Your strategy was to make sure you got to work on time using these routes, avoiding these detours, and all of a sudden today they put another detour there. Are you going to give up? Are you going to get frustrated? No, you're going to be like, okay, I'm going to determine how I can avoid that next time. And so if we are the strategists, guys. Like, we do this in our everyday lives. You strategize your day to day. You strategize what you're going to eat, how you're going to sleep. You strategize all of that. And if you don't, then that's also a red flag too, because everything you do, how you do one thing is how you do everything. So if you implement that in your personal life, it's going to just naturally flow into your business like that. So you'll stay up all night, not really getting anything done because you just don't have a barrier for your time, right? Like, this is where I need to work on this, and this is where I need to sleep. So then, we end up doing a lot of things in our business. But I love how you brought that to the front of it all, where strategy does not mean that you have it perfect. Strategy means that you're already creating something to see how it works in your favor. That's when it turns into a system, right? Because you're like, oh, that strategy was great. I go that way every day, and then sometimes they may put a roadblocks. Let me look at the DOT website to see when a roadblock's coming up, right? Let me figure out what I need to prepare for next time. So let's just be very increasingly aware that just because it doesn't work in your business the first time you try a strategy, that's not going to work at all. We just know that it just needs to be tweaked, like Nisa said. Thank you, Nisa, for sharing. Emma, anything come up for you?
I think you guys have said it really well. It's so important to have a strategy for everything, and so many of us don't do that. I'm here taking notes as well, because especially when you are working on your own, it's so easy to kind of just fall out of routine and to end up kind of wasting your day and then not getting things done, or not having a clear strategy, or the strategy that you do have kind of gets lost in the pile. So I think the other thing is it's so important to have community. I mean, that's why I love being on with you and getting involved with your community, because running a business and doing all the things that requires on social media and getting yourself out there and being visible, it can feel very lonely because you're all on your own. And if you don't have a supportive community around you, it can feel very isolating. So I think that's a really key element. You've got to have people around you who can uplift you, because otherwise it's so hard. It's so easy to get discouraged, because it does take time, and it takes working on your inner stuff and taking the action. And those things sometimes take a bit of time to unwind and unravel.
Yeah, I absolutely agree. And as I'm sharing this live, because this is really good, guys, you have to be very increasingly aware of self. And I'm glad that you said that, Emma, about taking notes and just being in a space of community. If you're not, then a lot of this that we're speaking about can feel a little far-fetched, right? It's like I'm overwhelmed. I can't even think about strategy, right? I can't even think about what it means to apply that from one place in my life to another. And so having the right people around you, which at one point in time, guys, I remember being in a space where I just didn't even know really what that looked like, because I didn't have community, because I didn't know how to build relationships. That was on me. I was like, like, I like you, but I don't like you that much to be close to you, right? Like, so you have to also be able to open yourself up, and that's why I love you, Emma, for coming and being able to open yourself up to community, because people need to see what that looks like. And being a strategist also means that if you're not good at showing up like it, if you're not good at walking in a room like God sent you, you need to start working on a strategy to get yourself to that goal. Because there's nothing holding us back but ourselves. Like, we literally are our own worst enemy every single time. And I don't care who comes over to this live and tries to tell different. I'm going to shut it down every time. You are the problem. I am my problem. And as long as we are aware of allowing things in our lives that are going to support and are going to aid what we agree to have there. Like, I agree to be a person that does not allow stress or mess in my life. That's a boundary, right? And so I have to know what that strategy looks like to keep people, places, and things out of that boundary. I need to know, like, what does that strategy look like when I get into a situation that's uncomfortable? How do I strategize to kind of like slide to the left a little bit and get out of there? And and sometimes we don't know that that's part of strategy, right? I've heard so many people go, oh my God, I mean, like, I'm overwhelmed and my life is messy and this and that. And I'm like, okay, well, what's the strategy? Let's start with step one. Okay. And then you can trickle into business. David, what comes up for you?
So for me, what comes up is I kind of look at it like dating, right? Like when you want to go on a date or when you want to go out, you always make sure that you put your best foot forward, right? So you make sure that you put on the right fragrance, the right perfume, the right suit, the right outfit. You make sure that your shirt is ironed. You make sure that your pants are pressed or ironed, however you do it. And then you go forth, and then the person says, "Oh, you know what? I like this person. I like this vibe." But if you didn't do that, and you just showed up on the date with no haircut, your facial hair is all over the place, your shirts are wrinkled, your pants have little creases in them because you didn't iron them, you would be like, "Ew, ew, why did they come out here looking like that? What's wrong with them? I don't want anything to do with them." It sounds funny, but I really started looking at things like that. Like even when I go to events now, right? Like I always make sure that I have at least one or two books on hand if in the event that somebody wants to buy one. Because I've also done that too. I've shown up to events with no product. And yes, you can pull it up on your phone. You can, if it's on Amazon or wherever, online, wherever. However, I find that people like tangibility a little bit. They like, oh, okay. So this is the person who wrote the book. So this is the person who came up with the fragrance. So this is the person who came up with the wine or the product, whatever the product may be. And so looking at things like it's dating has really become like my strategy. Like if I can't be 100%, I don't get involved. Like if I can't be in it 100%. So I think looking at even in business, when you approach people in business and you're looking for them to collaborate or you're looking for a collaboration, if you don't put your best foot forward, that's usually where it stops at. Even though you want it to go forward, that's usually where it stops at. It's like, well, I understand what you're trying to do, but there's no tangibility here. I don't have any proof. And everybody I find to some degree is looking for proof. So to go along with the strategy conversation, looking at it like it's dating, and if you put your best foot forward all the time, or most of it, that's when people go, oh, okay, well, I like what Allegra's about. I like what Emma or Nasia or David is about because the image matches up with what you've been talking about online all this time. And the image matches up, which encourages them to say, oh, this may take some time, but okay, I'm in it for the long run or I'm in it for the long haul. So I think that looking at it like it's dating and keeping in mind that a lot of people may be interested, but not everybody is committed. So I think everything is dating. I think that makes the journey fun a little bit and to not take ourselves, as serious like all the time, right? So everything is dating and there's a lot of people interested, keep in mind, but they're not committed. So when it's time to actually do the work, they're gonna go, oh no, that's too much for me. I can't. I don't want no parts of that. Okay. But then you can't come back around and results actually show because you weren't committed. So that's just my couple of bits of feedback. But back to you, Allegra.
First of all, that was more than a couple bits of feedback. And excuse my reactions over here, but there's like this little bug that like literally flew in my ear and landed. I want y'all to see this thing because I don't even know how to describe it. Hold on. I'm giving myself likes. How do I turn this thing around? Y'all gotta see this. I don't even know. I don't even want to get too close. Oh shoot, hold on. Y'all see it?
I see it.
How do I get rid of it?
You may just
Smash
have
it
to
with your
watch it, Allegra.
foot.
Okay, hold on. Let me take my flip flop off, because baby, we not gonna sit in the same chair today. I don't kill bugs, but I definitely don't. I don't. No, don't kill them. How do I get them out of here, Jesus? Whoo, Lord. Oh, if y'all can see my face, Lord. Ah! Y'all saw the wings? Did you see the wings? Did you see the
I
wings?
did see the wings.
Yeah,
It
I can
flies.
tell he has wings.
Okay. Oh, thank you, Lord. All right, let me get y'all back over here. Okay, let me get y'all back over here. Okay, I'm sorry about that, guys.
No, it's
What you
all
say?
good. Shenanigans happen all the time, okay?
I said, fix it, Jesus.
Fix it, Lord. He better take this wheel. Okay. So thank you, David, for sharing, because first of all, I love how you have this analogy that goes to something that everyone can understand, like dating. You know, like you're going to put your best foot forward, and you're going to, probably even do things like research, like
Yeah.
ask. I don't know. I used to ask questions. I used to be like, what should I wear? How should I wear it? And the intentionality behind that, like smelling good, looking good, feeling good. All those things happen for a reason. It's not for the other people necessarily. It's for you, right?
Hmm.
Yeah, we dress up and we look good on these dates, but it's because we want to show up as our best selves.
Right.
And that's part of a strategy, David. Like you said, dating is a strategy. I remember one of my college professors said that he didn't call them strategists, but I'll call them strategists. He said men are the best marketers in the entire world. They're the best marketers. He said they're the best. Not marketers, he said in sales. I was like, what? Like, it's just weird. Come to find out, they are. Because they can take the most no's I have ever seen. Guys, when they date, they'll go out and they'll be able to ask different girls in one day, several women, if they want to go out, and get no, I'm good. I got a boyfriend. I'm this. And they walk away like, okay, cool. Like that that to me is an understanding of what it looks like to strategize, because they know in order to get to that yes, they got to get all those no's that day. Like, in order to get to the right woman to date, they know that they have to actually ask different women if they'll be willing to date them. And they can't show up in that stage looking bummy, right? Because then they probably won't have a good chance. So that's part of strategy. Like, when I go outside my house every day, if I'm looking for a woman to talk to, I get to look good, smell good, be good, like have my stuff ready. David has his books ready. Maybe you need to have some stuff ready. I don't know. Men know how to do that stuff. but I think what's coming up for me, David, from what you said, was that it's all about relationships. It's not transactional all the time, right?
Yeah.
It leads
And
to a
it's funny
transaction.
because the relationships that have made me like work for them, and what I mean by work for them, I mean over time, those are the ones that turn into 10, 15, 20-year relationships. Because I watched you grow, just like you watched me grow. Even if it's just friends. It don't have to be business or anything like that, even with friends. Right. And I find that the ones that had easy access, and that was it was easy to get into the circle, I don't speak to them because it was too easy to get involved. And I find that the ones that you have to do a little bit of work for, the ones that take time, the ones that, okay, I'm patient with my friend, just like they're patient with me. We may do different things along the way, and that's fine. But the foundation's been built. So even if we don't talk all the time, because I know how they operate and they know how I operate, it's like we can pick up like no time has passed, because the foundation, just like in business and relationships, is as strong as cement. So we don't have to talk all the time. We don't have to do all of the major things that you have to do in the beginning. So, and I think that's where, I don't know if anybody's going to disagree with me, but I think that that's the problem that a lot of us are running into. We don't have the patience. We feel like if it doesn't happen now, then it's not going to. And it's like, well, who came up with that narrative? Like, where did that come from? I got questions. So if anybody can answer that question, please do. But I think along with relationships, it's patience. It's okay. I know that this ain't gonna happen right now, but eventually this will happen. And then, like I said, those turn into 10-year friendships, 20-year business relationships, 15 years, 20 years. And so at some point, it's like, okay, what do you need? Like, I don't even have to ask any questions. Like, what do you need? Because I've been around, you've been around, and that kind of stuff. So, yeah, absolutely. I agree 100%.
You know, before we finalize this with some real world applications, guys, I'm going to give you guys some real world applications. You can actually take what we were saying today and apply it to your life, right? Especially if you don't know where to start. Like, we've shared a lot of great information about, you know, what it looks like to show up like one, right? You are a strategist, but what is it like to show up like one? Like, you know, all these examples, first of all, it gives me so many more thoughts about how we actively have strategy going on in our everyday lives. David, while you're talking about relationships, I was thinking community is a strategy, right?
Yeah.
If you think about a lot of people, like my mother's a Delta. I don't know if you guys have any sororities, fraternities, family members. I never wanted to join one, but that's a strategy, guys. Because when you join a sorority or fraternity in your college days, it gives you connections to people you don't even know yet. But later down the line in life, you're going to be put at the top of the, you know what I'm saying? They don't say that. But if I'm like, hey, Sarah, like, I'm going to get more preference than someone else. And so your friendships, your relationships, that's all part of strategy. And I think this is where, before we do real world application, guys, this is where I think we fail at a lot, is that we don't apply it. Like, we just kind of wing it, right? We wing it through life. So we wing our friendships. So whoever comes in our life is just like they're there, but we never strategize for them to be there. You know, our job markets, jobs that we're in, sometimes we strategize for those jobs. When we get out of college, we're like, that's the job I want. But then that strategy didn't work. So instead of us looking for how to tweak that strategy, we're like, I'll give up. I don't even want to work for nobody no more, right? That's not what it's about. Yeah. It's about taking what you already know you want to do and applying the measure. How do you move and how do you shape? By applying strategy, which then can turn into a system for your life. Same in business. Take strategy and then apply it so that it can become a system for your life. This is why people that have businesses that have been in it for a long time, like myself, this is why I don't bother us to have a business that we need to close down or shut down. That's fine. Like, if it has to happen, it has to happen. It does not stop you from being a business owner and creating sustainable wealth. It just is just that business, that LLC, that license just no longer exists. But that's a piece of paper. So your strategy has to really be around even thinking about the things that you're not thinking about sometimes. So relationships also means, do you have people in your accountability circle, not just community, but do you have people in your accountability circle that really hold you accountable? Because the truth is, people like the rubber eagles. This is true. I've had lots of friends like that. Girl, you're doing so good. I don't feel like, you know, it's like, but they didn't have businesses. So your strategy around that even has to happen. You have to even be strategic about, well, do I have the right people in my accountability circles? Or are they just people I can talk to every day? Like, will they actually check you? If you say, I'm going to show up on Monday at 12 o'clock, will they be there to check you on Monday at 12 o'clock, or are they going to be busy with their own stuff? Oh, girl, I totally forgot about that room. Oh, I'm so sorry you said that. Like, are they able to keep you accountable? That's part of the strategy. Okay. So I'll stop there. Does anyone else want to share before I release this real world practical shift?
I say that I think this room has been really great and uplifting, just being with you all and listening and taking it all in. And yeah, it's kind of like what I'm taking out of it is it's the little things. It's not like you have to do everything and everything is a big thing. It's take attention, pay attention to the little things, and then the big things kind of happen on their own. Yeah, it's like a, brick by brick, drop by drop. That's how you fill the glass.
I love it. Thank you, Emma. All right.
I was going to say this was really good, and you had a lot of. Sorry, y'all, I was chewing a piece of gum. You had a lot of valuable points at what you were talking, girl, what you were talking about, and this has been a great room. Like you were talking about how people hold you accountable, surround yourself with accountability. Like one of my, I have a few friends and a few people that help me with my business. Well, on the very back end of my business, they give me the support that I need, that emotional support that, you know, like, are you doing this? How's this going? And just keeping me accountable. And that's really, sometimes I'm gonna be very honest. I'm like, really? Are you going to really? But that helps me stay the course, that helps me keep pushing, that helps me to stay focused, stay centered, and not get off track because my mind can go everywhere. And just to have that person or persons to help me say, okay, let's reel back in. You got this going on, you got that. That's just great in itself. So this was great in the end where you was talking about accountability. I love it. It was great.
Appreciate that feedback. Thank you. Thank you, Emma. Nice. Yeah, I had to learn these things, and I'm still learning. As we all are, right? So I'm glad that you have that, Bill Nice, because everyone doesn't have the accountability or the partners to hold them accountable. And like myself, I will share some very okay, hey biz besties. I will just be very transparent that for a long time I had people in my accountability circle that could not hold me accountable. As much as I wanted them to be able to, they just could not hold the capacity of what I needed to be accountable for. And that took a lot of a faith walk, Nisa, because I had to trust God to bring the right people. Because sometimes the circles
Right.
that we're in do not hold the people that can hold you. Oh, I need a t-shirt. I mean, it just like
Run that back. Run that back. That was a whole word. Run that
That was
back.
a
Run
mic
that
drop.
back. Say it slower,
forgot what
baby.
I said. I forgot what I said. I said sometimes child, I don't know. They just can't hold you. They can't hold your weight. They can't hold your capacity,
We
right?
gotta clip that after the
We'll clip
replay.
it.
Yeah, we gotta find that.
Yeah. But this
Agreed.
is but but hey, listen, we do have to be very, very cautious about that because like I said, transparency wise, I had a lot of people around me. Okay. And this may be y'all. This may be like, what if you are the prize? Like, what if you are the reason why the people around you are successful without knowing it? Because sometimes we lean into the fact that people do so much for us, but I've realized that the graders, right, the people who have high level of doing and ability and gifts and skill sets, the people that can hold your capacity, they're not really available like that,
Right. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
right? They're not someone that you can easily just find just drifting on a social media channel or just walking down the street or hanging out at the local library or bar. You
Yeah.
may have to search for your people. Yes, like the medicine. Absolutely, Pastor Rodney. You have to search for your people. You have to actually, like, sometimes this journey we're talking about, showing up like it, when people go, oh, well, I don't think I have to do all that because, I don't have my systems yet. I don't have my strategy yet. I don't have this. I don't have a website yet. Well, guess what? You not showing up like it because you don't have those things is stopping you from being connected to the right people who are going to help you get there.
Preach, preach.
Right? I think y'all know this, right? We in church.
Baby, listen, you already know. But I'm gonna be quiet.
Go ahead. Say what you gotta say.
Oh, because as you were talking, like even showing up if you don't have all your systems in place. Because listen, in full transparency, I'm in business. I've been in business for a year. I don't have all my systems in place, but I'm not going to allow that to deter me from what I am called to do to help people. I've been able to literally help a lot of people so far in my business, even with the flyers that I create and logos and things like that. Not having the systems in place didn't hinder that. It's just allowing me to know to take the time to put that in place, so as I grow, as I expand, things will start to become easier. I have these automations in place. I'll have these links where I can just send people these links and not have to worry about the back end. So it's just teaching me in the journey of business to know, like, don't stop where you are. Don't stop just because you don't have these things in place, but keep going, because you'll connect with the people that can help you go and get these things accomplished by just being in the right position, being in the right spaces. So that's a good point, and I want people to know, like you were saying, you don't have to have it all figured out right when you start where you are, because right where you are, somebody could use what you're doing in the beginning. So that was a good point.
And to
Powerful.
go
I can
along with that, I
go
find
ahead,
that
David.
even setting the intention of what type of business person you want to be, gears you in or steers you in the direction of, okay, so I want to get into retail. Okay, so I'm gonna go and I'm gonna find as many retail videos as I can on how to become the most successful retail person, because somebody before me has done it already. They've gotten to whatever their amount of success might be. And that might not be my amount. I might not want to make 10 million, 5, whatever the amount is. I may not want to get to that level, but I know that somebody has already done it. And what I'm realizing is that there's nothing new under the sun. Somebody has already done the journey that you're on. Somebody has already gotten to what they call unicorn levels. Somebody has already done the yoga studio, professional trainer, whatever it is that you want to do, somebody's already done it. So if you want to get into that world and you're not sure what to do, start by surrounding yourself with people that are already in it. And then that also goes into your community, because now you have people that can hold you accountable. You have people that are already doing what you want to do. You have people that can show you how to make 5 grand per month if that's what they make. You already have that amongst the community. So if you're setting an intention, I find that setting the intention first and then going out into the market and saying, hey, I'm an aspiring personal trainer. I'm looking for personal trainers to assist me. I'm just starting out. I'm not sure what to do. And I find that when you're really honest about it, people will show up and be like, oh, okay, I like what you're about. I like that you want to learn about personal training. And I'm just using it as an example, but that can apply to anything. And I find that just being honest and being transparent and not getting caught up in the jargon, as we always say, the business jargon of whatever field you may be in, and just being, hey, listen, I'm new here. I'm eager to learn. I'm always willing to do my own research. I'm eager to learn. I just want to be around the right people that can help me learn more about what I'm starting to be passionate about. So this was great. I'm glad to be here as always. This was a great conversation. And be intentional is what I got from today's share.
Just wow.
Let's keep tapping the screen. We almost at 5K. We can do it before we close.
Thank you, Nisa. We'll stay on as long as we can before they hit the goal. Nisa is, like I say, she the coach here on TikTok. So
I want to say this. As I'm learning, I was connected with DQ and Fan that's in the audience, and she's also helping me grow as well, and with some other people as well. So she's helping me, because one day I had something to drink on the live, and she's like, "Girl, you can't drink it." I was like, "Okay, thank you so much."
Oh, girl, you need to coach me then, because I be having wine Wednesday
Yes.
data, wine women and
So
data
when
women.
you so like when you drink, like lean over to the side where it's not like in the actual camera. So
Okay.
it's some type of thing on here that they track or something like that.
Yeah,
But yeah, that's
they
a tip.
actually, that's good, DQ and Fan. I appreciate that, because see, this is why you need to be connected to the right people. It's strategy, y'all. Because not what you know is who you know.
That
But
part.
I actually have gotten those warnings. So she's right. Just well, DQ and Fan, is it a group?
So DQ and Fan is her and her husband's page. They're
Okay,
content
family.
creators. Yes, and they just reached 10K. So you guys go follow them. They're amazing.
Oh, awesome. Yeah, we need, yes, husband and wife team. I love that. Trying to listen, goals for me, y'all. We trying to get there. I love that we get to, share this on the live. So make sure we follow each other. We'll be coming back on this live on Monday. We have it every Monday at 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Nice as always, making sure I get that right. And I think we're going to end up with this, right? Because the truth is, this is all about connection as well. We all have an opportunity to connect with
Hey
each
y'all.
other. Thank y'all. Somebody told me to put up a goal or something. I was like, I'm doing my best over here. Like I said, nice is the
Yeah.
coach. But
So
but I want you. Go ahead, Nisa.
okay, so basically, we reached the first goal of the rows that I sent you earlier, and DQ was saying reset your goal is just add another goal up there, which you did, and basically
Oh,
they'll
I did it
like
right.
they're gonna fill your gift, like when people come in they can fill your gift gallery. So basically, thank you DQ. She gifted me and she did gifted you, and then she gifted David as well. Thank you so
Thank
much
you.
DQ.
Okay, baby. Come back to the live anytime. We love the support. Thank you so much, and we'll come support you as well. Just share the lives in the DMs. I'd love to get those personal invites. You do not bother me, okay? Send me an invite. Um, I want to kind of finalize this live stream, guys. For those of you who are watching, and thank you guys for the 5K. I appreciate that. Nisa has been so good at the love. David has been so good at the love. Thank you so much. Okay, they go live at 8 p.m. Okay, perfect. I'll go ahead and see what that looks like in my calendar today. Okay, baby. I'm, I love the picture. What was that? Period. Oh, thank y'all so much. Definitely got to show
Community
y'all.
shows up for you. Community shows up.
I
Like,
see. Listen. This is a whole new area of community. Like I said, it's all about who you know. Already know that they are adding value because of what you said, Nisa. So I cannot wait to watch and hear all the amazing things that they're going to be doing on their live. But guys, let's finalize this because I don't want to get too far off topic because I know we're supporting each other in a place where we're all entrepreneurs, we're business owners, and we all go through these things. So this is, if you ever felt like you were alone, it was a lie. Okay.
Yeah.
So we want to make sure that we not only talk about being a strategist, but also knowing how to show up like one. So how do we shift from I know I'm a strategist to I'm executing like one? Okay. So I'm going to give you guys a task, and this is something you guys can do this week just to see where you can implement, execute, and not just talk about it. Because like you said, strategy without action is like a journal, fairy tale. Okay. It's a fairy tale journal. It's nothing that you're actually going to is going to deem results for you. So let's get some results. So your challenge this week is I want you to pick one thing that you've been avoiding in your business. Okay, so let's ponder on that for a moment. What's one thing that we've been avoiding in our business? I already know what it is. Ugh. Okay, so anyway, get out of my own head, y'all. So now that you picked one thing that you've been avoiding in your business, right? And that can mean, okay, I'll give you guys examples. Sometimes people need examples. It can mean posting content. So like I've had people go, oh, this content thing doesn't work for me. And I'm like, well, when did you post? And they go, well, I post like 5 times. And I'm like, how long ago? like over a month ago. I'm like, so you gave up after 5 posts? They're like, yeah. And it's like, okay, but you have to consistently do that thing and
Yes.
watch it. So if you're posting content, I encourage you guys to do it for 30 days. Do not stop. Do not think that you know when the ending point is. Give the algorithm and your insights time to catch up. Okay?
Mm.
Because that's what's happening. Like the robot behind the scenes of your social media is like, I don't know what she's doing. I don't know what he's doing. They only posted for 5 days. I mean, how am I supposed to figure that out? But if you're posting, say, one thing every day for the entire week, and that one thing is posted at the same time every day, and say you're smart like Nice and Dave and you schedule it out. So now you don't have to touch it for a whole week. But you see it posted and you get to share it everywhere. Now that's intentional, that's strategy. But you have to pick, if is that the one thing you need to do. So choose, is it making a phone call? Like, I'm big on personal encounters, but then I got really locked up in my throat at one point in time in my business where I just could not get on the phone for some reason. There was too much anxiety about physically talking to someone over the phone about what I was doing that made me choke up before I even got on the phone. Like, I was already stuttering over my words and I ain't even started talking to them. So we have to be kind of realistic about that. Nice, did you want to comment?
Yeah, I don't know. I guess I get anxiety too talking to people over the phone. I don't know why, because I do talk a lot, but like just talking about your business, and then I think what it is the fear of a no. But a no could be healthy because then that could be not the people that you need to work with. So I get what you're saying. Some like earlier I was calling to schedule an appointment for an inspection that I'm gonna have tomorrow, and I'm like, oh Lord, the voicemail came on and it just shifted everything what I was going to say. I was like, this is Nice, coming back at 252, and then just giving my number. So I'm like, oh Lord. So after I left a message, they called me back not too long ago, earlier, before the live. So I'm like, Lord, he probably thought I was like crazy. But I understand it's just that fear that happens, that kind of like, you know what you're gonna say, but once you get on the phone and that other person is on the other line, it's like yeah. So I get it. That's what I need to work on. So I get it.
Yeah. And I mean, and because we have those experiences, sometimes we knock ourselves out of the game before we can get in. Like that one phone call that we may have stuttered on or didn't get the message through right. Right. And then now our whole day is like, I ain't gonna call nobody else. That was
Yeah.
me. That was me. That I was the person that was like, okay, well, I got to make all these sales calls and marketing calls. And because, when you do market research, you can't just go online.
Right.
Like, that means you have to call the competitors and say, hey, how much are y'all pricing for this? And
Yeah.
and for us, we call as a marketing research company, right? So that we have validation as to why we're calling to get this information. But guess what? We're also their competitor. They don't know that. So I just gave y'all some gems just in case y'all behind the scenes and y'all know the business coaches. Y'all had another call from blah 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 agency. It's attached to AJ CEO. You just don't know it. So it's one of those things, guys, where if you are not familiar, if you don't feel good about the call, if you may have gotten a flat out no and it crushed your feelings, like now you butt hurt and you sitting there in your feelings all day because somebody told you no. Because the truth is, if you're afraid of that first no, then you will never be successful. In order to be successful, you're going to have to take more no's than anyone else. Why your competitors are more successful than you is because they've taken more no's. Like, they've showed up more. So whether it's posting content, whether it's making phone calls, whether it's sending that one email you were supposed to send last week and you just still ain't send it, what is the one thing that you've been avoiding that you need to do this week? And I want you to set a 15-minute timer. That's it. I don't want you to, listen, whether you go over it or not, set a 15-minute timer. Do it messy, do it nervous. I don't care. Just do it. And if you come back and say, oh, well, I had a reason, I didn't say give me a reason. I said just do it. So pick one thing, set a 15-minute timer. And I want you to track your action, not your perfection. Who cares how it looked? Who cares how it sounded? Who cares, what you wanted it to look like, what you wanted it to feel like? Oh, it's not perfect this. I don't care. Your only positioning is to track, did I do it? not was it perfect. Okay. So that's that next step. And then I want you to repeat it again the next day. So once you do that one thing you've been avoiding, set a 15-minute timer to do it messy, do it nervous. Track the action. Did I do it? Did I do it? And how much of it did I do if it wasn't completely done? And then repeat that same thing tomorrow. Okay, I'm going to stop there because, first of all, consistency is going to be your secret sauce. If you guys come to me this week in my DMs, because I've had a lot more influx of DMs, and I'm going to tell you, there's lots of questions there. I'm going to tell you guys the same thing. I promise. So if you're coming in the DMs and you did not follow what I just told you to do, and you're like, oh, I need help with this and that and this and that, I'm going to get you right back on this video, and I'm going to say, I need you to do these steps because you're avoiding that one thing that you're supposed to do. And honestly, what you're looking for is some validation, and it ain't over here. So I will let you guys wrap it up with that, because I know that this is the thinker. This is not one of those type of lives where I'm giving you guys all the cuddly hugs and love feels. I mean, I do that all the time. This is the live where you need to take action this week. And if you're not taking action, you really need to assess why that is and execute to get the support so that you can be the strategist you are. Do what you have to do and create the strategy, whether it's getting the support from mentors, coaches, accountability partners that are really accountable to you or for you, whatever that looks like. Okay, this is the week to do that. I'll start with, actually, let's go backwards because Emma was able to join us back in here. I know we've been talking for a while. Emma, is there anything you would like to, kind of give feedback off of from what we've said so far?
No, I just feel energized from listening to you guys, and yeah, I was having a bit of just one of those days where I was feeling a little bit flat. So I'm feeling like you have re-energized me, Allegra. So thanks so much. This room has. No, it's been really good because it's about the simple things that are actionable. You don't have to build Rome today, You just take one action every day. And I think that kind of thinking can really trip us up when we feel like, oh, I have a million things to do and I need to do it all now. It's scary, and then we get paralyzed, So one step at a time.
That's beautiful. Thank you for that, Emma. And make sure you guys connect with Emma as well. Like I said, my partners are coming on now. I have more people. We're just giving some mind shifts here that we all need. I need it. My clients need it, my students need it. And also for those of you who come in here, like Emma just said, if you have decided what that one bold move that you haven't done is, feel free to drop it in the comments, right? Feel free to say out loud what it is that you need to work on today, this week, so that you can stop giving life to the life that it has in you, right? Because when we expose those things, when we say, hey, I haven't done this, something about that gives a level of accountability all by itself. Like, dang, I said out loud that I wasn't doing something, so now I'm going to have to make those calls, like Dyson said, making calls. All right, before we get over to next, I want to hear from David. David, anything that you'd like to add before we get off?
Yeah. First of all, this was a great conversation. Always a pleasure. A thought that came up, though, right, is that be kind to yourself if you've never done this before. I don't know about anybody else, but when I first got into entrepreneurship, because I saw people much more at successful at higher levels, I was like, okay, so I got to run myself into the ground to get there. But then I realized, like, no, everybody's got a routine. Everybody's got their own blueprint as to how they got to where they are. So to go along with strategy, I think that you should find out, like, what's your blueprint? What is it that you naturally do without having to be prompted? And then as you figure that out, I find that the strategies and the right people and the right mentors and the right community will all fall into place. But if you don't know who you are, then none of that matters, because then you'll just be out here floundering. So 1 minute you'll want to write a book, and then the next minute you'll want to be a firefighter, and then the next minute you'll want to go and become a cop, and then the next minute you'll want to be a marketer. And it's like, okay, but you can't do all of that in a reasonable amount of time. So I'm going to need you to focus. Follow one course until successful. Focus. And then once you focus and you find out what it is that you personally want to do, then the other things show up. Then the accountability partners show up. Then the other things show up. So to go along with what you said, then I'll rest here. Be intentional and find out who you are first before you step into the world of business. Because if not, then you're going to be floundering. Like I said, you're going to want to do marketing, business, sales, the tech person. You're going to want to do everything, and you can't do everything. So figure out who you are first and then step into business.
Okay, I couldn't get off my mic quick enough. Okay, thank you, David. That was very powerful. And of course, all the shares that we have in here, guys, you never know who resonates with what. So I'm always grateful, especially when y'all share gems like that, right? And being able to be sensitive to people who are in a different space. Everybody is not a legend or a senior in business. Like I've been in business for, I don't even want to say the number anymore. So, I can kind of have a no nonsense type, hey, listen, we got to work. But I love how you bring it to the forefront of, this could be your first year in business. This could be your first month in business. This could be your
Right.
first 5 years in business, and you still feel like you haven't picked up from you haven't really started up. I was talking to a young lady who had her LLC. She has all of these components to her business, but she has not implemented not one thing. She has not executed not one thing. She has ideas for products and things like that, but it's been some years. And, that's what I feel is what you're speaking towards, David. It's like we have all these great ideas and we want to do something,
Yeah.
but we have to make sure it's aligned, right? Because
Right.
alignability means that when you wake up, it feels good to do as soon as you get up in the morning. When you think
Yeah.
about it, it makes sense. Like, oh yeah, I'm gonna do that. That makes sense. But
Yeah.
if you have something on paper like a business or you want to do something as an entrepreneur, but you're not making any moves, maybe it's not aligned. Um, I'm
Mm.
pretty. I don't know. I'm taking lessons from y'all at this point. Like I'm pretty moved by these statements. Okay, we have to get some t-shirts ready. Nisa, let's end the live with some great encouraging words, and I would love to hear your feedback as well.
First off, I'm gonna say, David, do not be talking about me, cause like I was like, hold up, that's what I used to do, and sometimes we still doing it today. However, I'm like, oh Jesus, he just came for the jugular. But no, today was really great. It was like a whole heavy day from earlier this morning in my room on Clubhouse to today. It was just very thought provoking. And yeah, I got some homework to do from earlier to now. And yeah, it's a lot, but it was really good. I mean, very impactful. Yeah, DQ and fan, yeah, the jugular. Cause it was really good. It was very I'm glad I was here on time because last week you already know what happened. But anyways, but this was really great. Thank you so much, Dr. Allegra, for this room. This like why I say room? We on TikTok. I'm like, okay. But anyways, thank you for this space to share because as we're learning and growing, we can definitely take a look at ourselves and see how we can improve and just learn from each other. So this is great. And y'all, wherever you are in your business, do not stop. If you have parts of your business that you feel like you need help with, get the help because, we're not on an island by ourselves. There are people that we can connect with that can help us to progress the way that we envision our business to go. So get the help and y'all just keep on thriving because your business will do great. Just do the work. Show up for yourself daily. And remember, every moment in life is your miracle moment. All right. Thank you so much, Doc. That's all I got.
Thank you, Nisa. Such great words. Okay, so guys, we already know the brand miracle moment, so of course we have to close with that one wonderful, exciting feel, and also making sure that this is your miracle moment, to be honest, because some of you have tuned in, or maybe you're listening on the replay, and you just never thought about it in this way, that you can simplify your overwhelm, that you can take the things that you desire to do and realign with those things, and know that you're not just a strategist, but you can show up like one. And I'm going to keep it real. If you only strategize and never execute that thing, but you're always like strategizing and planning and writing it out, you'll be brilliant, but you'll be broke. Okay, that is the real truth. So, David, you're laughing like y'all be inspired but inconsistent, and you'll be gifted, but you'll be very hidden. All right, a lot of people talk about gifts, and I'm like, I don't see nothing. The Lord wants you to be seen. Okay. So when you commit to consistent action, guys, especially like the really scary stuff that we're all talking about, that's when everything starts to shift. Everything. Right. That's the next t-shirt. Thank you, family. We're going to have to do a t-shirt company for that song. I don't have to pay for it right now, but that is true. But that's when everything starts to shift. So just remember, you're not behind. You're just one bold decision away from momentum. So let's make the decision today. All right. Love you guys. Have an amazing week. We'll see you back here on Mindset Monday. And also make sure that you DM us if you have any questions. We are here for you. Love y'all. Have a great day.